myself. I think that there's always continuous layers and layers and layers of this. So if you are not really proud of where you're at, or maybe you're proud of certain areas and not all the areas, you it's time for you to really sit down with yourself and look in the mirror. And I did that a lot. Like the last 2-3 years, I did a lot of looking in the mirror. And when you truly just start to look at yourself for what it is, for where you're at. So, for example, if you have a hard time getting along with people, what's up with your attitude? How's your tone of voice, right? Are you somebody that just like, you kind of always end up in arguments, like, and then you wonder, oh, everyone's always attacking me. But if it's everyone's always attacking you, then what's your part in it? Like, where do you stand in it? If it's always happening to you, right? If you're always being told no or denied opportunities, well, that just always happens to me. Well, why is it always happening to you? And it's not happening to everybody else equally, right? So it's time to really look in the mirror. And what I love about 2024 is that when you add it all up, it comes out to 8, right? So 8 is a sign of wealth. It's a sign of abundance. And it's like an infinity sign, right? So what I love about just like the energy of 8, it's like this abundant feeling, right? So going into 2024, I want you to think about it like it's my time to step into my abundance. It's my time to stop complaining and wondering like, woe was me, self-sabotaging, rewinding old programs in your head over and over and over. You are the sum total of your subconscious beliefs. Let me say that again. You are the subtotal of your subconscious beliefs. So if there's something around in your environment that you do not like, it is coming from your subconscious mind. It's because you actually believe that that's where you're at. It's actually because that's where your self-worth ends, right? It caps off at that level. If you're not having good relationships, or maybe you're having a hard time with friendships or coworker relationships, or a boss employee relationship, and it's just kind of always a tough time, well, you are the sum total of your reality. And so I think a lot of times when we hear that, it's like, well, no, they got to change, and it's like, well, no, like they actually don't have to change. You actually can remove yourself, or you can actually change, right? Or you can actually learn to set boundaries. So there's many layers to this, but I'm so excited for what I'm about to tell you. So you're going to want to tune into this. I took some notes, so I want to make sure to give you like some of the science behind this, because this is something huge, and it's actually higher than IQ, right? So this is something higher than an IQ. If you can master this, if you could start to take this into your life and really embody it and start to become aware of this, you're going to massively, massively have miracles opening up left and right. And I'm not even kidding. Some of the things that have happened in my life, I'm just like, why was I placed like on top of a pyramid? Like twice. Like I've been placed on top of a pyramid. I've been placed on the pyramids of Giza, and I've been placed on top of the pyramids that are located in Belize. That wasn't really like, of course I casually, right? Like in my imaginary bucket list, oh, I would love to see the world. I would love to see but like other people, it's like, oh, those opportunities never happened to me. And so because that's part of, I actually believe that I get to enjoy those things in my life. I actually believe that those circumstances are they're going to manifest, right? So now there's other areas I'm working on personally, but in some areas it's like, I'm not even kidding. Like there's been so many times, not so many, I'm exaggerating, but there's been like more than enough times where it's like, okay, there's something that's going on with this energetically, going into spirituality as well. And if I lose some of you when I talk about spirituality, it is what it is. That's what I live my life by. And that's why I've been able to maintain my health, my radiance, vibrancy, my positive well-being. That's what I live my life by. So if I start talking about spirituality and I use the word God and it turns you off, then find another channel that you can resonate with. But like people have just walked by and just handed me money, and I'm like, like why? But there's something inside of me that says, you know what, God's always taking care of me, or God's always got my back, or if I'm in need, God's going to take care of it. Or if I'm having a rough month, I'm going to give it to God. And I think just like, because I'm open to like the miracles and magic of God, like I see those moments. And I want to see more. I'm excited to see more of that. You know, I would love to see it all day, every day. So what I'm going to, and this ties into this practical thing that I'm going to give you, also ties into spirituality and all of it. So this is what it says. It's emotional intelligence, okay? EQ, or your EQ, emotional intelligence. So you're going to want to stick with me on this, and I have a story for you on this as well. Well, really quick, let me tap into the story really quick. So when I was younger, I was promoted very quickly in a corporate job that I used to have. And I found myself at 25 years old with a corporate car, a corporate cell phone. It was an Audi, a corporate cell phone, a corporate card, 7 different locations under me. I had 2 different districts. So my first promotion, it was like a smaller district, and then I got a bigger district. So I got promoted to a second one. And I was just like, whoa, like there's people that are older than me, arguably more wise, arguably more, maybe their IQ might have been a little higher in certain areas of the business, but like I was promoted. And so that actually happened to me at several moments in my, it's like a kind of like a trend and a thread throughout my life. And something that people have always said to me is that I have a lot of patience, and I think I actually lack patience, but I have a lot of patience. And so this goes into emotional intelligence. So I think what people are actually really saying is you can handle a lot. Like if there is a tough time, a tough situation, and there's a lot of like emotions involved with it, for some reason, most of the time, I'm not perfect, but most of the time I'm able to hold the energy of that moment, right? So for example, like going back to the corporate job, Black Friday, it was in retail. Black Friday is super ridiculously stressful. When I tell you, I saw people, oh my God, I saw people passing out. I saw people literally like physically passing out on the ground. I saw people fainting. I saw people crying, stomping out of the store. I've seen like full on brawls starting when it comes to Black Friday. It's insane. It's ridiculous. And somehow in my 25-year-old self, I was able to like hold space and like be calm under those situations. And so I kind of noticed that like I was able to, like, literally, I'm not even kidding. And I always told myself, I said, if I'm going to cry over a job, I don't need to be at that job. No job is like, I wasn't born on the planet to be crying over a job, unless it's like paying me 100 mil a year, it's worth a couple tears. But like, there's no reason why I'm going to be crying over a job. I'll just get a different one where I am valued and love what I'm doing. So emotional intelligence. So what I found is that I beat out everybody that had been with the company longer, was older, and maybe had better numbers, just because when upper level management would come, like the directors, right? When they would come, and I was a general manager at the time, so I was only over one store. When they would come, and it was like they would purposely come during like really stressful times, right? Like a back to school, at the mall's crazy, or Black Friday, Christmas season, right? They would pop in on you. They would literally pop in on you just to see how you handle that whole, the fact that they popped in on you, the fact that there's customers everywhere, the fact that there's kids crying, there's people backed up at the fitting room, the register's not working, there's another employee having a meltdown, a breakdown, there's 3 people that called out on you. And for some reason, again, I just was able to like hold space and just like kind of slow the moment down and just be like, that's okay. Let's get order over here. Okay, the register's down. Let's just move the line over this way. So 3 people called out. Let's just adjust with what we have. It is what it is. We're going to have to go around, talk to customers and ask them to be patient. Like I don't know. I think a part of it, I have to give the credit to my mom, because my mom's just a very calm being. So from the moment I was born, I wasn't in like a loud environment. Like when I saw conflict, or when there was issues that would come about, the way that my mom handled stuff was just so queenly and calm. So I think like just naturally seeing her have such high emotional intelligence as well, and she also was put in positions of leadership too, naturally. So I think like I by just flat out observance of her, I got the gift of that. And then it played out in my life, right? So I want to gift that with you, and I want to dive deeper into emotional intelligence. And if you can master this and really dive deep and dig deeper, read some books on it, listen to some, podcasts where there's like therapists that really dive deep into stuff like this. But okay, so really quick. So let me just read this for you, and it's going to unlock some stuff. So it says, what is emotional intelligence? Okay, what is emotional intelligence? It says, the term emotional intelligence was created by researchers Peter Salvary and John Mayer. It was then made popular to the masses in the mid-90s by a book called Emotional Intelligence, written by Daniel Goleman. So you want to definitely read that. I haven't read that, but I want to read it. So many people believed that intelligence, or IQ, okay, many people believed that intelligence, or IQ, was what determined success. Nope. But researchers were perplexed when studies found that people with average IQs outperformed people with higher IQs 70% of the time. So 70% of the time, people with average IQs were beating out people with higher IQs. And they're like, what's going on? Like, there's something here, right? So diving in deeper, finally, after a decade of research, researchers found that emotional intelligence, referred to as EQ, was the missing link, the critical factor in determining a person's long-term success. So that's why I was put in leadership positions consistently throughout my life. I was so popular in high school that it sounds conceited, but like it just is the truth. And I'm like, to me, I was just like an everyday girl. But I think because I never argued with people, I didn't get into fights, I didn't get into drama. When someone would say something offensive, I knew how to brush it off my shoulder. I was very humorous, and just kind of like, things are not that serious, right? Like I wouldn't like want to like, throw me outside, or, I just wasn't like that. And so I was so popular that junior year and senior year, people didn't even want to run against me for student council, because like people just knew, like, out of everybody, just no one would run against me. So I always just automatically got placed in leadership positions, because I'd be like, oh, I want to do that. Who am I running up against? And no one would ever want to run up against me. So I just say that to say, like, there's so many stories I can bog you down with, or waste your time, not waste your time, but give you examples of. But I want to gift that to you for 2024. Like, if you are having an issue, if you're feeling like you just are always in a conflict, you're not getting promoted at your job, you are maybe wanting to start a business, but you can't, like you just, there's like a block that's holding you back, right? You need to tap in with your emotional intelligence. So let me just go into this a little bit further. So it says emotional intelligence has two major components to it: interpersonal relationship skills, so personal competence, and intrapersonal skills, so personal competence, and then intrapersonal and then interpersonal skills, social component. So it's an inward thing and it's an outward thing. It's a personal and it's a social. Okay. So it says interpersonal intelligence is your ability to be aware of your own moods, your own emotions, your own motives, and be able to manage or redirect them and your behaviors. A lot of times people can't do this. They don't see that they're talking with the attitude. They don't see that they're being super aggressive with their hands. They don't see that they're rolling their eyes like this. Like, literally, I've been in positions where, like, in meetings where people are talking and they're just like, and it's like, Well, you wonder why nobody likes you, or I mean, when you're agitated, you're showing that you're agitated on your face. Like if you could be agitated and just be stoic, right? So that's emotional, like your own personal. So you could be triggered. You could be triggered, and then later on, maybe you can just, I'm getting triggered right now. I'm feeling hot in my chest, but I'm just gonna deal with that later. I'm gonna journal about it, or maybe I'm gonna talk to a mentor about it later. And you handle it with poise and composure. A lot of people I met in my life do not handle things with poise and composure. And there's been a couple L's in my life where I did not handle things with poise and composure, which is why I'm like, oh my gosh, I now know why I choose peace most of the time. Because even though in the moment it feels like, yeah, I want to just knock them out. Yeah, I want to just slap a bitch or whatever. Like, it does feel like that. But you then do it and you look 10 times worse. You look 10 times dumber. You look out of control. You look a mess. And now that's what people think that you are. And then you have to kind of like, and really, okay, who cares what people think, right? But for yourself, like that's not how you want to handle yourself. So is that how you want to be perceived in the world, right? Like, do you want people to see you as somebody that is a wreck, a train wreck, a mess, always popping off? If you notice you're never invited, for some reason people ain't picking up your calls, they're not texting you back. Well, how's your energy? And if it's always happening to you, then you have to look into your internal. So, maybe I just need to like calm down with the way that I talk. Maybe I just need to like relax.